on with the press statement. As we come to the end of the second month of the 10th year of the promulgation of our Constitution, the NARC Kenya family wishes to share our reflections on the sad state of our nation. Like many Kenyans, we are saddened by the state of an economy that is in the red, an economy choking with illegitimate debt, deficiency of jobs, and thriving in government-led corruption, all at the same time. The Big Four agenda has silently died and slowly but surely joined the ranks of other big promising but unmet promises made to Kenyans. Socially, we are alarmed by the increasing intolerance among citizens and their leaders. Politically, the season of madness and deceit is upon us, when demons become saints and priests fight on the side of villains. As public good and social well-being takes a backseat in the government's agenda, and the government makes blunder after blunder, we have come to the realization that we are slowly but surely losing a country. Today, we wish to confine ourselves to just 3 critical issues, namely, the government's apparent and ongoing mishandling of the global outbreak of the coronavirus. 2, the continued disregard of the Constitution of Kenya and undermining of the sovereign rights of citizens as manifested in the illegitimate takeover of the affairs of the Nairobi City County. And 3, the charade that the Building Bridges initiative is unfolding to be. On the first and most urgent matter of the coronavirus, we join all Kenyans who have expressed shock at the recklessness with which the government is handling the growing public health crisis posed by the coronavirus. We do not see any evidence of preparedness or a government actively involved in protecting its citizens from potential harm. While our public health institutions are in perpetual disinvestment, the government continues to expose our people to the highest possible risks of contracting the coronavirus by keeping our airspace open for all without any precaution. Without prejudice to the people of China, we wish to condemn in the strongest terms possible the ill-advised decision to allow hundreds of Chinese nationals to continue jetting in and out of Kenya without adequate health checks and or quarantine. The government advisory for the 239 passengers who jetted into the country to self-quarantine for 14 days is laughable as it is tragic. It is not lost to us that the government has refused to respond to the pleas of Kenyan citizens in China, and especially the students in Wuhan, to be flown home. Our government has failed its citizens abroad and is now failing the citizens at home by its reckless conduct. In the wake of this catastrophic failure of judgment, we are concerned that Kenya may become the epicenter of the virus, resulting in many other major airlines reducing, suspending, or altogether stopping flights into Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. We are saying this because by the government's own admission, there is absolutely little or no preparedness. They're telling us of 11 beds for the whole country. Yet there is little or no monitoring of people coming in, and in particular from China, where this virus has peaked. We urge the government to close Kenyan airspace and border points to all flights and passengers originating from China. We urge the government to establish mandatory quarantine facilities at all international border points. We urge the government to organize and finance immediate evacuation of Kenyans stranded in China, and especially the students in Wuhan, and on arrival to hold them in quarantine centers within their homeland until cleared. That's what other nations are doing, and we have seen it. Because you contract the virus, whether it's your national or whether it's somebody else. The manner in which the national government has attempted to take over the affairs of the Nairobi City County, we find and declare the process to be unprocedural, unconstitutional, and an affront on the sovereign right of the people of Nairobi. We urge the government, the national government, to act within the law and to resist the temptation to use the current unique challenges the county of Nairobi is facing as an excuse to overthrow the constitution and undermine the popular will of the people of Nairobi. In other words, we are saying it doesn't matter what the crisis Nairobi is facing. The law has to be followed. Due process has to be followed in any takeover, which has not been done. Finally, on the matter of the Building Bridges initiative, NARC Kenya is concerned that 3 months since the March publicized launch of the BBI report at Bomas of Kenya, no copies whatsoever have been given or distributed or availed to Kenyans to enable informed engagement and participation. And you will recall the promise in Bomas was that the copies will be availed to the people. Yet, citizens are expected to endorse the report without question and in an unexplained hurry. You'd think the world is coming to an end. We remind the champions of BBI that the constitutional provisions on public participation are not merely cosmetic, but are intended to give citizens a voice as a first critical step in enabling meaningful participation. Several issues need urgent attention if BBI is to claim any legitimacy. One of them being the distribution or availing the copies to Kenyans. The town hall meetings that precede BBI public rallies are by invitation only and therefore remain a closed affair. The voices of those not invited are missing out in the public endorsement rallies, because we think these rallies are just for a chorus of public endorsement where contrary opinion is unwelcome. In our representative democracy, Kenyans still have reserved for themselves the right to directly participate in public affairs, which is a fundamental principle in our constitution. To this end, we laud the citizens of Nyeri who, in the Nyeri Town Hall meeting this week, demanded copies of the BBI report before any deliberations. These citizens were actually heeding the call in Article 3 of the Constitution to uphold and defend the Constitution. Once again, we remind the two BBI proponents to adhere to the letter and spirit of our Constitution. The BBI public rallies so far have given the impression that if you support wholesale, the BBI, one is not welcome and is considered an enemy. The recent Narok rally took the intolerance a notch higher by the ethnic profiling openly advocated by a section of leaders. The fact that the BBI drivers present at that meeting did not seek to set the record straight right there at the rally it's not only unhelpful, but also suggests that they were at peace or endorsed those divisive and unconstitutional utterances. We are aware that the ODM political party authored a letter a day after cautioning a member. This is a case of too little, too late. They needed to have done it right there at the meeting. As matters stand, majority of those who attended the rally may never know that anyone ever disapproved of the intolerance displayed on that day. They most likely will think this is the new normal. Some key proponents of BBI have called for referendum by June this year. We're telling them, in case it has escaped their attention, the Constitution only provides for two methods of its amendment: parliamentary and popular initiative. If it's a parliamentary initiative, we need to be told. If it's a popular initiative, we are all aware that the million signatures required are yet to be collected. They are yet to be verified by IEBC, if at all, before the process can be released for debate by the county assemblies. Therefore, talking of a referendum by June is a pipe dream. We must, as Kenyans, refuse to be blindfolded and bulldozed into supporting what we do not know about, or to be excluded from debating or participating